Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. I'm Vikova, you can call me V, and today I am streaming more Roadwarden. Oh, hang on, quick update, it's launching now. Good. Hello and welcome to Rowan, to Talon, and to Quirrell. It is lovely to have you here today. Yeah, how are you getting on right now? I hear Talon is on the way home. That's great. Rowan, I expect you haven't been up very long yet. Fluffle says hello? Oh, yay! Thanks for passing that along, Quirrell. Okay. We're in. There are 3 rivers of faith, the core readings of Right's tablets, the rivers of order, truth, and freedom. Interesting. Rowan says I got up about half an hour ago. Yep, thank you so much for coming along to these streams, even though they're first thing for you. I feel very fortunate. So, we're continuing. And we're in the Necromancer village talking to the Necromancer chief. I am so excited. I just know that this is our chance to make a good impression with the necromancers. Ooh. Quirrell says, oh, he doesn't like you? Oh, well, we'll see. We'll see. I guess one coward would recognize another. He raises his chin. Welcome to White Marshes, but don't stay for long. You've got no wagons of wares, and I've no need of you. Take a good look around while you can. Okay, yeah, he doesn't like me. But you know what? Maybe he'll like me more over time. Probably. The turf houses are old, covered with lush grasses and flowers, and you can't imagine any large family fitting inside such small, one-chambered huts. The alleys are so narrow that only one cart could squeeze through them at once. Your boots have sunk into the mud. The square is covered with deep boot prints. The noise of hammers, shouting, wood splitting, and the shuffling of undead legs pierces through the constant buzzing of insects. Shadowfax snorts, hunting down flies with its tail. Rowan says he just doesn't know how much Vio likes necromancers yet. Exactly! Once he knows, he'll be my friend. Quirrell says no wagons of wares, huh? Trade agreement? Yeah, maybe these people will want to trade with Hovlavin. That can't go wrong, right? I notice that there's only one elder in sight, and he's observing me. Okay, this isn't the elder. This is good. Let's... No, wait. No, just an older person. Okay. He's standing on the top of a wooden platform by the building that's unlike any other in the village. His eyes are keen. The left one is dark, the right one is grey, bright. His head and face are shaved, and his simple undyed robe is in even worse shape than the outfits of his tribesfolk. Once Helvius realizes what you're looking at, he lowers his weapon and clears his throat like a boy caught red-handed. The elder walks away, holding a walking stick with one hand and touching a wall with the other. Orentius, says the mayor, the priest of our fellowship and the one who saved our people. He raises his hand, pointing at the dead shells bustling around the construction site. Okay, so this is the actual in charge person. Because Helvius is uncomfortable having been seen speaking for the village. Sibira says, every time I hear Hovlavin, I start thinking about Pavlova. Yeah, I can see, it does sound like Pavlova. Hello, Sibirus. Okay, so, our options are, I look at the undead workers. They don't bother you? Seems like a stupid thing to ask. Obviously they don't bother them. I'd like to speak with Orentius. Okay. I'd like to learn more about White Marshes. Is Asterion around? Were you recently bothered by any highwaymen, and shall we trade? Let's see, let's learn more about White Marshes. I think this is the most important thing, and I would like to show Willing, you know, an interest. I'd like to learn more about White Marshes. Don't bother, both us and yourself. The tribe's been taming the bog for 5 generations, but the fields... He moves towards the gate, as if you had no opportunity to see them before. From a few seasons ago, thanks to Orentius. We used to live on berries and meat, selling peat and timber, but soon we'll need no outsiders. After all these years of feeding our blood to saurians, leeches and merchants, better days are coming. We made them come, and we deserved them. He fondly wipes his blade with his thumb, then clears his throat. If the right allows. The right. It's a sort of deific figure we keep seeing in the intro. So you want to separate yourself from the other settlements? Yeah. The tribes with little iron and bone struggle more and more. We're getting ready to welcome plunderers the way they deserve. That's all. Our palisade wasn't enough. All this, he waves at the wall, and his voice is full of pride, was built in not even 2 years, can you believe? You glance at a yellowish skeleton that carries 2 large rocks, each too large for any human to lift on their own. Yeah, I can believe that. Okay. Is Asterion around? Huh? Where would he be? You pay attention to his confident stance and strong voice, with its usual hint of disdain, and spot no sign of a lie. He's hardly ever been here. I've no need of wardens. You say you know nothing about Asterion, but people claim he had strong ties with your tribe. I don't think people have claimed that, have they? Have people claimed that? We plug into the group memory. Quirrell says Jacques. Calmly enveloped, hello! How are you today? I want to speak to Orentius. Let's do this. Let's ask about the claim ties, the strong claims. Hang on. Oh, but this is updated. This was good. Good shout, Quirrell. Helvius begins swinging his axe left and right, the heel of the haft now resting in the mud. Trying to recall the past, he makes a puzzled frown. Know what? I was told he met with our warlock often. Who knows why? Ask him if you must. Okay, let's speak to Orentius. As he straightens up, the moose head on his chest bounces enthusiastically. You and many others, but he's swamped by his work, and we've enough threats in the shadows already. If he decides you're trustworthy, he may speak with you once, but why would I even ask him? I would really like to speak with him, though. I think he might be a necromancer who will like me. I want him to like me. Cyrillic, hello! We're playing Roadwarden. It's a dark fantasy text adventure with a little bit of graphics. I'm told it's very, very dark indeed, but I'm just trying to make friends with everyone. And so far, it has mostly worked out, although a bird and a big cat did trick me into a swamp and then nearly kill me. But apart from that, it's been going great. Azalise, hi! Lovely to see you. How are you today? How are you, Cyrillic, as well? Okay. I think of the options here. I just want to meet him. He sounds like an unusual soul. I do want to meet him. But I do want to hear the Right's Will. I want to know more about necromancy. I've got to make these necromancers my friends. Azalea says this game seems lovely. It's got beautiful atmosphere, loads of really descriptive story. You have a lot of freedom in sort of what actions you take, which I really like. And most importantly, near the beginning of the game, we were told that there was a village of necromancers somewhere in the north, and I've spent the entire game since then, which has been like 6-7 weeks, trying to get to this village, desperate to make friends, and it's going all right. Azalea says, this week I'm learning sign language. It's a nice break from work, and I love learning a new language, and one very useful. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, sign language is really, really useful. Okay. Let's see. I want to meet him. He sounds like an unusual soul. I want to hear the Right's Will. Yeah. You're at the right place, but at the wrong time. One day, all provinces for the land will learn what was revealed to the prophet. He spread his arms, holding the pole axe like a staff. Ride away to the villages, to the city. You will all hear Right's words soon enough. I don't like the sound of that very much. He doesn't trust me enough to let me see Orentius. That's a shame. Okay. How do I make you like me? I don't have any money. Were you recently bothered by any highwaymen? He reaches for his hair so quickly that it makes you flinch, but then scratches his head gently. And if so, we deal with them on our own without some warden's help. Okay. He doesn't trust me enough to speak about the highwaymen. Let's see what he has for trade. We need what we have, but I'll look at what you're bringing if you seek bones. He glances at an undead. I nod toward my bundles. Go ahead. You pull out some items, but he waves them off with his axe. We're not adventuring or traveling. Bring me something we could use around here. I pack my things. Okay. Farewell? Oh! A sudden shout cuts the sky, but no one pays attention to it. Why is this beeping? It turns out a small boy got scared by the quiet approach of an awoken shell. Shells, for those new to the stream, are bodies, and these are undead bodies here. Alright, let's see. Commonly Enveloped says, I've got to make these necromancers my friend. Via Corva, November 2022. Azalee says, I've just read the first 2 books from the Locked Tomb saga where the protagonists are necromancers. So I'm also in a mood where I think that necromancers are friends. Yes! I enjoyed those books. I've also only read the first 2. Alright, okay. I could go to Helvius. No, Helvius was not very useful. I could address the guards. People from the other tribes are looking for spouses. Oh, true! There's that woman who wants us to find her a partner. Maybe we could help build ties between that town and this town, the necromancers. Teferax, hello! Welcome! Okay, so I could ask the guards if there's a room to rent for the night. What time is it? 4 hours before dusk. I'm really unwell. I could observe the undead workers. I could approach the well. I'm going to address the guards. People from other tribes are looking for spouses. The taller gatekeeper gives you a long look. We need no matchmaker here. Our youths work to do. Only then they're free to go wherever they want. After you ask if the village is open to new dwellers, he snorts. You think they're going to move to the village of the dead? Good joke. They might. I would. Ooh, okay. Let's go to the well. The locals observe your hands carefully while you're drawing the water. After you quench your thirst, you try to wash your face and neck, but one of the older women approaches you quickly, wagging her finger. We've not enough for this silliness, she rebukes you. Water your horse if you have to, but we need the rest for ourselves. The stern gaze of the other villagers leaves you no room for discussion. Okay. I wish I had come in looking as good. I spent so much money bathing before I got attacked by that bird in the swamp, and now I just look terrible. I stink. Rowan says V, desperately trying to move to the village of the dead. I am! I observe the undead workers. Not being allowed to leave the main square, you observe the shells walking through the gate, or helping the builders at the wall. The skeletons are not at all complete. Some of them lack a rib, a foot, or a jaw. Many of their bones are cracked or broken, and seem to be connected to each other with nothing at all, as if the pneuma that keeps them moving knows which parts should stay firm, and which ones should twist or bend. Those that kept some of their skin and guts don't smell, rot, or bleed, and make you think of dried meat. It's as if these scraps of flesh serve no purpose, and seeing how many of these labourers have already got holes in their stomachs, or limbs with revealed bones, it could be that they are just in the middle of the process of becoming like their naked counterparts. The undead loyally fulfill their tasks. So far, you've counted 5 people able to give them orders. Some do so by speaking out loud, while one woman simply looks at a shell no matter how far it is. The workers, while witless, maintain some sort of carefulness in their actions. They stop when someone gets in their way, and use tools if they know how, avoiding pointless harm to their shells. There may be more than 50 creatures spread across and around the village, but you can't know how many you haven't seen yet. Many of the fresher undead are elders. Among the skeletons, you spot some that used to belong to children, but none to infants. Maybe such young shells are too difficult to sight even for the locals. Maybe they are so different from adults they can't be awoken. Maybe their shells are too weak to work or too dumb to listen to orders. I think it's just too difficult to sight. I think I have empathy with these necromancers. The shuffling gait of an undead, still covered with flesh, makes all of the other sounds weirdly quiet. Oh. Quarrel says, I've been reading a book about a necromancer, helpfully titled Book of the Dead, so good luck searching for it. In that, the protagonist literally sews skeletons together with little invisible strands of death magic. Love that. Oh, I really, really need... Rowan said 2 weeks? Sorry, Rowan. I asked the guards if there's a room I could rent for the night. I guess? I don't have any money. I guess, one of them sighs, and tells you to wait where you're standing. After a few minutes, a group of locals approaches a more neglected turf house and starts to empty it. Oh, they're emptying a house for me? They take out old crates, rags, casks, bricks, then leave them by the outer wall, at least for now. It's an old shed, explains the guard. There, you won't bother anyone. We'll be ready before you need it. Aw, they're so nice! They're nice. Only Helvius is mean, really. Alright, Helvius, you used to sell wood, right? He nods in approval. In the old days, our firewood warmed up all walls and toes on this side of Flag Hills. Bagale Rocks in the far north. Built its own hamlet for woodcutters, and Owler's Dell grew a fine garden for themselves just to get by without us. They have oaks, cherries, and their own darker birches. I've no more reason to trade with us other than Pete. You glance at the buildings. While they are indeed new, most settlements in the province would view them as crude and cramped. I want to stay here. Can I wait? I'd like to wait for night. A group of children is sitting in a circle, being taught by a teenager how to carve bone. They're skinny, and one of them is sobbing. Oh, they're struggling here. Oh. Story Dragon, hello! I'm trying and failing to befriend these necromancers. Let's see. Let's wait. I think I need to sleep here. I'm in a bad way. Wait until evening? I can sleep. Sleeping in a shed. You have to rest on your own blanket. The never-ending sounds of the wall construction and walking skeletons won't help you catch a good sleep. Oh, but I'll gain a little bit of appearance? No, I'll lose an appearance and I'll lose a food. Okay, well, let's take it. Oh, what? A persistent shouting voice wakes you up. Weak moonbeams squeeze through the smoke holes, but to have a proper look around, you open the door. There are flickering torches at the main gate, accompanied by a solemn prayer and timid shouts. You put on your cloak and boots and leave the shed. A few of the locals, dressed in their regular worn and muddy clothes, surround a large group of the undead, touching their half-rotten limbs, revealed rib cages, emotionless heads. A hooded woman sonorously, singingly begs for rights, guidance, and protection, but you don't pay much attention to her words. The man known as Orentius is standing beside the gathering, with the revealed torso and walking stick beneath his shoulder. Every now and then he cuts his sides or his back and fills a wooden bowl slightly. Then a follower steps closer, puts 2 fingers inside the liquid, and takes it to one of the awoken creations. The lights dance around them, casting shadows that you could swear hide cruel spirits. You don't know how long you had been observing the ritual when the scar-covered man turns toward you. His innocent, sad eyes carry no judgment or reprimand. Yet you suddenly notice how cold your calves and neck are. Autumn is surely getting closer. You wade through the mud. Okay, interesting. Exciting things always happen when we sleep here. Okay, when we sleep, like, in this game. What has happened to them that they feel justified in doing all this? Or, so not only do they awake the dead, they use blood magic. If the United Church learns about this, they won't let it go. I don't care about the United Church. Let's hope they'll let me leave this place. Or, these people are beyond redemption fanatics. I'm a pagan background! I don't know why I'm so annoyed about this. What? Quirrell says, wow, all but one of these responses are very judgmental. I know! I literally took the background that should make me be more sympathetic towards this situation, but I am not being given the option to use that. What do we think is the best of these? These are all judgmental. I feel like one of the least bad ones is let's hope they'll let me leave this place, but like, I think they will let me leave. I'm not gonna say beyond redemption. I don't wanna say the United Church one. Rowan says, what has happened, I guess? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Let's go with that. Skrillex says, let's hope they'll let me leave. Well, they're gonna let me leave. Even though the village seems to be on its legs, most shells you spot are dead, just as occupied as they were during the night. I go to Helvius. I have nothing to say to Helvius, so I guess this was kind of worthless. Gosh. I only have 1 vitality. There's nothing here for me to, like, do better. I think I'm going to die on my way to anywhere else. But I don't have any other option. Travel. Well, let's just travel on. I'm gonna go east. No, I'm gonna go south. We'll just fill in this area. I'm gonna go south. As you ride past the fields, one of the local farmers enters the road, gesturing for you to stop. He's holding a rusty sickle and carries a basket on his back, filled with various weeds and a sharpened club. His patched, worn tunic is neglected, but fitting for a farmer. The lean years left his face skinny and his teeth crooked, but his sad eyes hold heartwarming kindness. Hi there, Warden. He has a thick, local accent. I've been wondering just now. It's a small matter, you see. Do you know how to read? Quirrell says, used to be. Strider has bog knowledge. Yes, exactly. I used to be a scholar. New entry, read the letter. You received the bone tablet. Fantastic! He gives you a radiant smile. Give me a few moments. Without waiting for your response, he runs to the village and returns to you with a small sack in his hands. How about you take a look at it? He unwraps a package and reveals a large wax tablet made of bone. It's a letter from someone I care about, but I'm not sure what it says. I'll give you a coin once you read it for me. You take the tablet from his open palm. It's fancy, unlike the wooden ones. On its back you find an engraving portraying a large, furry beast. Made of a troll's hip, the farmer says proudly. You examine the confident, deep signs written in the wax. The letter is short for Valens. It starts, I couldn't bear another day in this nightmarish village, but now I don't have to. I've met another soul during my hunting trip south. We will start a new family. Goodbye. No signature. The man is walking in place, waiting for you to speak. Oh. Oh. Why do you need my help? That's a pretty tablet. I know what's in the letter. Lie. There are some letters here I can't decipher. I better consult them with someone. I feel really bad about this. I don't want to, I can't say I know what's in the letter. I can't tell him. I think it will just tell him. I don't want to give someone that news. I mean, Skrillex says learn more. Why do you need my help? But I mean, I think he just can't read. Quirrell says you have to tell the guy. You can't just leave him hanging. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I guess... Oh, I feel so bad. I know what's in the letter. He puts a hand on his forehead. You can't tell if it's a sign of relief or tension. Lie or repeat to him his husband's words. Commonwealth says honesty is the best policy. Quirrell says you're not the one doing this to him. The letter is written. It'll be just as painful whoever reads it to him. That's all true, but I feel terrible giving him this information. This poor man. It doesn't seem like he did anything wrong. He's just living somewhere where he can survive. I'm so sorry. I repeat to him his husband's words. At first he freezes and then gives a hateful look towards Orentius's hut. He knew what this piece of shit did, he growls. He always asks to be heard, only to spread lies. Why do I need to find a stranger to hear the truth for once in my life? Oh. His eyes get gentler once he looks at you, but you notice the tears in his eyes. His shaking hands offer you the reward. Now, about the tablet. Oh, I just feel so bad. I do think honesty is the best policy. I feel better that we've done it, given that Arrentius refused to tell him. Yeah. Here you go. So Arrentius lied about it? You receive the bone stylus. I don't want it. He steps away. You know what? Take this. He pulls out a bone stylus that perfectly matches the colours of the tablet. Together, they will buy you a few meals at a trader's store. Good luck, Warden. Farewell. I mean, I guess it's my job to do things like this, really. I am a warden. I just wish I didn't have to tell him that. That's so heavy. But the idea that he didn't have anyone else to ask, that he could trust to tell the truth, is sad. The locals keep their distance, both from you and from their undead workers. You notice a skinny woman with a blue headscarf. She stares at your mount, like a wolf at an elk. I don't like that. I approach the woman who observes Shadowfax. She moves away but meets your eyes and makes a smile-like grimace, then leads you behind the empty animal pen, away from the guard's ears. Her grey hair, mostly covered, is deceiving. She's no older than 30, yet her face is marked by insect bites and pustule scars. She takes confident steps, even though she wears muddy foot wraps without boots and a worn, simple skirt. She squeezes the front of her scarf on her chest, shaping it into something like a short, hooded cloak. A warden, I heard. She answers your nod by pursing her lips. I need you to ride somewhere for me. Okay, tell me. Far away from here, at the Eastern Road, there's an old bridge made of single rock. She doesn't look away for even a single heartbeat. Her gaunt face is pale and makes her large grey eyes look as if someone took their colour away. Beneath it, there's a rock, and beneath the rock, a purse with my savings. Bring it to me. Before you mention your reward, she starts to speak faster, giving the men at the gate a nervous glance. Half of what you'll find is yours. Bring me the rest. Calming Belt says, hello lady, looking for facts about shadows. Yeah, the real reason she was interested in shadow facts, she was gonna steal my horse. Are you in trouble? She hesitates a bit too long. Course not, but a few dragons can bite, can they? Seeing the curious looks of the guards, she shakes her head and leaves you to yourself as she passes by a flesh-bearing undead. Okay, let's find this pouch, I guess? Where am I supposed to go for the pouch? Hang on. She needs you to ride to find the pouch. Hidden pouch. Hidden under the bridge on the Eastern Road. Okay, I can't make any sense of this. The Eastern Road. This is the road. This is the Northern Road. Wait, this is the Northern Road? Where's the... I don't know. It says this is the Northern Road. So how do I get the Eastern Road? Because this goes east. She said it was far from here? Did she? Jabal says the pouch is way around the Eastern Loop where you've not been yet. Oh, okay. Do you have any suggestions on where I should go next, Jabal? I'm wondering, I was clicking south before, but it seemed to just keep me in the village. Wait, is that not where I am? I'm here! Oh, okay. I don't know where to go. I don't understand this map at all. I'm here. I travel this way. I'm gonna go this way. Quirrell says you're still in the White Marshes village. You just got interrupted as you were leaving. I wondered if it sort of guided me back. The road east is beaten and clean, with enough space to fit 2 wagons side by side. You pass by a few plum trees, apple trees, and cherry trees, but many more stumps, likely belonging to what has been turned into Foggy Lake. The life in the plains is busy and loud, but so far you don't see any lurking beasts. Judging by the many trampled parts of the meadows and the fresh food trails, the foragers search this corner of the peninsula quite often. They didn't leave much behind. You reach a shining pond at the edge of the forest. You ride beneath 2 trimmed trees growing on opposite sides of the path, like columns leading to Right's temple. Shouts and heavy steps prepare you for trouble ahead. Oh, I'm going to die! I have no health! 2 shells are circling around each other. One of them is a 4-legged saurian with dark grey skin, as long as your palfrey, but only knee-high. It's wandering left and right along the bank, hissing, repetitively sticking its split tongue out and then retracting it. The stout monster doesn't look like a born hunter of humans, but its long tail is swinging like a whip, for now only threateningly so, but you don't doubt that getting hit by it would likely break your bones. The second one belongs to a brown-skinned man wearing leather pants, a long, broken woolen cloak, and the matching pelt of a wolf on his head and shoulders, like a haunting hood. His voice is both gentle and scared, and he's stretching his hands out in front of him, trying to make the beast stay away, as if it's a mouflon. A third shell is right in the middle between the other 2, a creature you don't recognize from a distance, but it is in a puddle of its own blood, and isn't moving. I want to help. I'm not going to run in with my axe in my hand because I think that's combative, and this man is trying to handle this in a calming way. So I should ride slowly, taking a closer look. Does that sound right? Yeah, let's do it. We're going to ride slowly and take a closer look at the entire situation. You stand up in the saddle to have a better view and realize that the corpse on the ground is but that of a white ibex. The man, who acknowledges your presence with a nod, speaks with a hint of playfulness in his voice, asking the saurian to be so nice as to stay away. He then turns toward you and points at the prey. "Friend, lend me a hand, will you? I'm trying to seize it." As you dismount, the saurian takes a step closer to the pond. Oh, we're going to choose our approach. I love this part. Friendly. How can I help? Playful. I don't think your ibex can be helped, kind stranger. Oh, that actually seems like a good one in this situation, because he was playful as well. Just like a bit of banter and keeping it light in this weirdly tense situation. Distance. I frown, raising my weapon. Why? It would be easier to catch something by yourself. I don't like that one. Intimidating. Just step away. I'm not going to help you die for a scrap of meat. No, I don't like that one. Vulnerable. I breathe out with relief. I thought the beast killed someone. I do like that one as well. Skrillex is getting more information. Woo woo. Yeah, absolutely. It totally worked. I'm feeling playful the most, but I quite like vulnerable as well. Playful being, I don't think your ibex can be helped, kind stranger. Rowan says go with playful. Quirrell says playful. I like that one a lot. Yeah, let's go playful. Skrillex likes playful or helpful. Wonderful. I don't think your ibex can be helped, kind stranger. Click. He tilts his head and lets out a chuckle. Nah, not mine was the kill, and I'm not a beast breeder. He points at his hat, as if it's meant to be proof of some sort. The brown mouth resting on his forehead is quite distracting. But there's food in the middle of the road. How can I look away? This ibex is our destiny, friend. After a short pause, he whispers, Say, do you have any fruit in those sacks? Throw some at it. He points at the beast. I have no fruits with me. Why would it care about fruits? It has a whole ibex to eat. I sigh and look at my weapon. I'll distract it. You grab the ibex and drag it away. I mean, I have one vitality. I'm gonna die if I do anything dangerous here. I shrug. This is really not worth the risk. I'll just ask about the fruits. Why would it care about the fruits? It has a whole ibex to eat. Just trust me, he grumpily whispers. It only hunts when there's nothing better for it to pick. They live on trees, you know? You look at the saurian's shell, wet from water in which it was sitting not so long ago. The man notices your gaze. I'm almost sure. Okay, this guy does not make good decisions. I'm gonna keep trying to convince him. There's no way a few apples would work, maybe a cart of them. He purses his lips, and for a moment you expect the wolf head to follow his lead. Whatever. Quirrell says this is the first indication I've seen so far that saurians might not be carnivores. I'm unconvinced. Yeah. Rowan says you can't tell him no fruit or throw fruit. This seems unkind. Yes. I think I just need to say it's not worth the risk. I might die. You know? It's a dice roll here. I shrug. This is really not worth the risk. I'm sorry. I would love to make a friend right now. I'm being friendly, but you know, you've got to look after yourself. To a point. This seems like a pointless risk, I suppose. Quirrell says sometimes you got to know when to walk away. Also, that wasn't his kill. That was the saurian's ibex. Seems kind of unfair to the saurian. I shrug. This is really not worth the risk. Well, not with that attitude. He takes a deep breath and raises a finger, but then steps away from the corpse. My home is this way, in creeks. You coming? Before you answer, he turns around and heads uphill. The saurian observes him for a bit, but you can't read anything in its eyes. Once you grab the reins and lead your mount forward, the beast doesn't waste any time. It puts the ibex's head into its mouth, as if it's trying to swallow the entire creature at once. I catch up with the man. Ooh. Sabira says sometimes it doesn't say which finger he raises. Absolutely. I think we can guess. I catch up with the man. You leave the pond behind and approach the woods. Even from a distance, you can see a distinct trail leading between the trees. It's not a forest garden, but it's not bad. With every word, the man's voice gets more cheerful. It's not that gloomy, and I haven't seen a cat there in a year. But with no cats, there are boars there now, and as there are boars, there's also more gargoyles. He sighs. His steps get lighter, and so he leaps forward and bows to you, showing you the tip of its furry hood. Better not go too deep, kind traveller. There are no roads there. His face is not much older than 20, shaved with great care, cleaner even than among the city folk. While his hood and heavy cloak mask his figure, he seems well fed and healthy. This is a bit of an interesting fae sort of figure, isn't it? I'm not a pathfinder. The wilderness isn't for me. Or one can never know where their path will lead them. It seems weird to say the wilderness isn't for me when I'm a warden. Let's be wise and vague. Aye, the spirits can be nastier than a sack of ape shit. But from all the places, I'd be glad to be led to creeks. We don't starve, the work is hard, but there are no merchants above us. And it's a gorgeous place, you know, you'll love it. I smile, I'm sure I will. The road is gentle, but the man is incapable of being silent. Every unusual tree seems to be tied to a story from his life, and he makes sure that you notice the first stream you cross on a new solid bridge. One of many creeks you see, he says with untamed amusement. A thin gorge leads you between the mountains. This place is quite susceptible to bandits, it truly feels like an end of the realm. Let's say an end of the realm. Quirrell says you're a Roadwarden. Roads are little lines of city cut through the wilderness. Yes, but they're like very little. The wilderness has been affecting me quite a lot on my journeys. Oh, here we are. You follow the trails of shouts and laughter. 7 people, about 20 years old each, are gathered at the wooden bridge, leaning against the railing, bathing in the stream, lying on the grass. Pieces of clothing made of fur and leather are spread around next to cudgels and throwing clubs. Once the sound of hooves manages to break through the chattering, the curious young eyes, untouched by wartime, turn toward you, and an excited whisper spreads. The shells are proudly displayed, and the confident smiles are both inviting and challenging. "How's water?" the hunter greets his tribesfolk while stepping on the logs. "Gentle and warm," says a man resting on his friend's shoulder. "Caught any squirrels?" There are paths leading in many directions, but the main road will take you uphill. Awkward. As I walk past the naked people, I look at the watchtower. There's no reason for me to be embarrassed. I look at them. There is no reason to be embarrassed. This is clearly just an average nude village. It's just bodies. But I do feel awkward, and I'm gonna go ahead and look at the watchtower. Quarles is finally a chance at a decent bath. Yes, but this time I'm gonna learn my lesson. I'm gonna buy the room, and it'll give me a bath at the same time. Never pay for the bath separately. Huge ripoff. Awkward. As I walk past the naked people, I look at the watchtower. The hills around you form a valley, most likely spread from here to the very coast. The main spring supplying the creek is cutting through the walls high above you. The bridge is young and robust, enduring the weight of the wanderers silently, as well as your mount and belongings. A single person is waving to you from the tower, but the roof makes it difficult for you to see what they look like. Your guide speaks with enthusiasm. "We keep a soul there at all times, friend, unless the night's so dark one can't even see the gate. It's not hard work, but it's boring," he says in a sing-song voice. You follow the twisting path. The palisade is as tall as trees, but being placed on top of the crags makes it look impassable. "What? Why is the gate closed?" The hunter turns to the watchtower and repeats his question, only louder. "Maybe call Ela? Too blind to see we have a guest." That's... A hardly visible guard with a female voice leans from the tower. "He's coming, Howler, relax!" Her shout hints of no patience toward him. I didn't like that. Anyway. "The youth dine in the woods after the bath. Why wouldn't we close?" The man glances at you. I do really want a bath. If they will let me bath, that would be very good. Jabal says, "I don't think it's too spoilery to say I like creeks a lot, and it was both the village I spent most time on in my playthrough, and also the village that got possibly the worst bad ending due to things I failed to get done in other villages. And I still feel bad about it." Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe you should play this again on the story mode, on the friendly mode. Get the good endings. Not that I think I'm definitely going to get a good ending. I'm not doing very well. "Who's Ela?" I whisper. "Just my brother." He gestures for you to ignore it. "And I'm Ephron, so thanks to our parents, folks keep mistaking our names. But Ela has a stick in his ass and is as boring and nagging as a legless donkey." The soul from the tower hides again and the gate opens. We enter the village. The sparse clumps of grass survive only the edges of the spacious yard. The few onlookers wear working clothes, suitable for their hard labour. They're carrying tools, planks, and logs. You're next to a large building of unusual shape, either a temple or a house of gathering. It makes you think of a cabin that's been getting larger over the course of the years, with the section in the middle being darker and more crude than the outer ones. A slightly overweight man is standing in front of the building with open arms. "Welcome to Creeks, friend!" His voice and eyes are gentle, but there's vigour in his stance and gestures. "Ephron was meant to hunt, but I see he brought a very unusual creature." The hunter rolls his eyes. "Don't embarrass us with this prattle." He then raises his voice. "I almost brought us an ibex, but this traveller was no help. Long story. At least I tried." Ela's smile gets replaced by a raised eyebrow. "I trust you made the right decision, friend." While I introduce myself, I observe him more closely. Srillik says, "I like this kind of slightly graphical game. They were my favourite books growing up, where the ones had illustrations on the opposite page." I mean, it is quite lovely. I really enjoy the depth of world and imagination you get in a text game. And a touch, and adding the music, a little bit of mechanics, and a little bit of graphics does enhance that very much. Yeah, this is very, very good. Being close to 30 years old, he's one of the older souls around. Just like the other villagers, he has clothes made of animals, not plants. The leather pants and jacket are humble, but the shoulder cape, reaching from his neck to elbows, used to belong to a yellow elk. His brown skin is darker than that of a farmer, and as you look at the outreached hands, they carry the marks of being cut by tools. And I'm Ela, the carpenter. He takes a step toward the fruit trees and invites you to move forward. Like most men in the village, he's cleanly shaved. How about I show you the rest of the village? It may be humble, but it's as beautiful as a blue starling. Okay, we're choosing our approach. Yes, yes, yes. Jabal says, yes, I will do another run sometimes, but I'm going to leave it a few months, so I'm coming into it a bit fresher. And I'm struggling to carve out time for anything lately with all the tireds. Yeah, that's very understandable. Okay, so our options are friendly. Thanks, Ela, that sounds lovely. Playful? Oh, I already had an opportunity to see some of your beauties. That seems creepy. Nope. Distanced is sure. Intimidating is I've wasted enough time. I think I'm probably never going to use that. Vulnerable, can we talk about the peninsula instead? Pleading fingers. I don't really feel like there's any real option here. I just want to say thanks, that sounds lovely. As he grins, you notice his unusually white teeth. He moves with heavy but enthusiastic steps. It won't really take that long, but we have quite a view. The hunter gives you an embarrassed look. Don't indulge him too much, friend, he says without lowering his voice. He'd be proud of a falling wheelbarrow. Let's take a stroll then, says Ela as he leads you forward. Your mount can drink at the creek here. Come, Shadowfax. Shadowfax says, did you know that light plays differently on water than it does on grass? Trilix says, my, what white teeth you have. You tether your mount to a tree next to drying laundry. Ela points at the land behind the bridge proudly. Our newest addition to the village. The hunters grow old, so we are taking steps away from meat and fruits. You spot only 2 people working in the field, or rather a large garden covered with cabbages, carrots, onions, and garlic, indistinguishable from the wild plants growing in the woods. On the path between the 2 halves of the field, an elderly woman is sitting on a stool, looking in your direction as if you're interrupting her contemplation. Old Harver there will turn this place into a proper farm one day. She has little strength, but she keeps precious memories of her trade. You lack proper seeds? Seems rude. I speak quietly. She seems austere. Yeah. Ephraim snorts, holding his laughter. Just be happy you haven't grown under her. I'm lucky to have all my ears after all the pulling and pinching. Don't overcolor. She cares a lot. Ela invites you with a gesture to follow him deeper into the village. At least about the quiet children. Just let her do the talking. The fewer things you say, the fewer reasons for her to get upset. Yeah, I know the type. Sure. The bonfire spot is surrounded by logs that were cut into tables and stools. Ela approaches the nearest chair, rubbing its back with his cut hands. When we share a meal, we do so here, sometimes beneath the stars. You'd have to see it. The flames dance on the walls to the monster roars and crickets. Ephraim's voice also grows in enthusiasm. Dining at the edge of the forest is something you wouldn't forget. Unless you can drink, don't swallow anything stronger than spoiled ibex milk. The shadows, friend. Terrifying. You glance over the wooden buildings. While the walls seem fine, the roofs are primitive, mostly made of planks that are already soggy and bent. There are a few people working on cleaning bark from a log, but the square is mostly quiet, with a few kids observing you from above their toys. Burning such fires must take a lot of wood. A bit of a fire hazard, isn't it? Or I imagine what such dinners would look like, one big family. I like that, that seems friendly. Ela flashes you a disarming white smile. Yeah, a huge one! We don't have any rooms to spare. He looks at the children as they return to their crude wooden toys. They don't realize yet how small our home is. They've hardly seen anyone from the world outside, and the trade occurs at Foggy Lake. And good for them, the hunter chips in. They don't miss much. Other than spouses, we have everything we need. And so far, we have plenty of fresh meat. Some of us even too much. He smirks at the carpenter, who in response turns and walks away. I follow him. You stand between two of the houses in front of the gate of an animal pen. The walls are made of sharpened trunks, and are as tall as two humans. The captured beasts are tethered by ropes, but have enough freedom to wander and graze. 2 brown boars, and a black mouflon. And here are our captives, Ephron declares proudly. I know, it's still a bit empty, but we'll crowd it just before winter. Are the ropes really enough to keep them here? Can't they chew through them? Or are you going to care for them in winter? Are you going to care for them in winter? I do care about that. The hunter swallows loudly, already thinking about his next meal. Nah, they're just here for the meat and skin. Once the snow falls, we'll butcher them. The carpenter gives him a sullen glance, then squeezes the lower edge of his jacket. I'd love to keep them with us. I don't even like meat. We could start a mouflon herd or any other, but it's too dangerous with such weak defences. He leans on the gate. Our houses are too small for them, and having loud beasts outside during cold months would lure predators. We tried. He falls silent for a bit, and once he picks up the conversation, his voice returns to its previous proud tone. You'll understand better if you take a look at our old forest friend. He points at the area behind the palisade. I look north. The vast clearing is returning to life, with shrubs spread between them, the paths and tree stumps. You move to the bridge, then a gateway, and have a chance to look around. We can see the edge of our world from the watchtower, Ela narrates sublimely. In the long distance, the plateau ends, surrounded by cliffs. You either climb up the mountains or fall to your death. Both men tell you about the difficult past of the village. A desperate camp, then cabin. Then too, shifting its wooden walls as more and more trees were cut. Without tree crowns, we can walk with no shadows, beast dens, gargoyle eyes, concludes the carpenter. Is it really better than a forest garden? It would produce much more food now. Now I only see berries. Or, I'm surprised that the wrath of the herds hasn't smitten you yet. These pointed sticks won't stop a unicorn. I guess the first one? I mean, both of these don't seem like great. I'm just gonna go with the first one. You hit the heart of our worries, friend, Ela admits, and is interrupted by the hunter quickly. We did what we had to do to push away the beasts. They don't feel safe here and don't seek food on the shrubs as they would on trees. Ela tells you there's one more thing to see, and as you walk away, he returns to the matter at hand. The animals keep their distance now, at least in the meadows, so hunting for them gets difficult. And meat with hardly any mushrooms and herbs gets bland. A forest garden would solve the problem, sure, but we don't know enough to even start one. Hence, a field of berries. He taps his stomach. First, we need to learn how to feed our children. We lack strength and skill. Ephron looks at you. But we have time. I nod. With time comes opportunity. You reach the edge of the village, a cliff as tall as the wall. Beneath you, 2 creeks meet each other and form a gentle river. These are the trees we use to learn more about woodwork. Ela is smiling as he leans his back against the wall of a house. We plant new ones, but we'll soon have to bring wood from further away, give the saplings a few years, or however long they grow. A decade? Oh, they need to get wood from Whitemarsh. And this is where I leave the two of you with your boring tree talks. Ephron points at you. See me later if you need, I'll be around. I rarely hunt alone. The carpenter watches his departing companion with genial eyes. Well, there's work to be done. A new chair awaits me. He leads you to a humble working station placed at the edge of the square. The tools you notice are very simple, if not primitive. We don't have to talk about my trade, Strider. What brings you to us? I've heard about the bandits. Have they caused you any troubles? Is Asterion around? This village isn't much older than you are. What's its story? I'd like to learn more about the peninsula. What do you think about Ephron? I've heard you had some issues with the Eastern Path. I imagine being a commentator in this part of the realm isn't easy. Okay, those are our options. Jabal says, I do want to get back to writing my own game. It's months since I've managed to do any game dev. Coral says, I know that frustration. Yeah, I really want to get back to my game as well. I just don't know where I'm going to get the time. Strelix says, has anyone read Bad Unicorn? I'm afraid not. Is Asterion around? He halts his work and looks at you with an exaggerated frown. That's a weird question. You're the first Roadwarden I've seen in, well, this season, I think. Did you check in the western villages? You'll get to Howler's Dell simply staying on the road. His right hand, still holding a tool, is now squeezing his stomach gently. Why is he always squeezing his stomach? Is this, like, they described this character as being, like, a bit fat, and the way to, like, remind you of that is that he's constantly squeezing his stomach. I gotta tell you, I am fat, and not just a little bit, and I have never squeezed my stomach. I don't just sit around pinching myself. Ugh. Ridiculous. Let's see. I'd like to learn more about the peninsula. Our tribe won't be much of a help there, he admits, while judging the harsh surface of a small plank. It was our parents who did all the travelling, and they did so while we were kids, or not yet born. Most of them are already gone, and most of us travel no farther than to Foggy's, and only when we have to. Okay. I've heard you've had some issues with the Eastern Path. I'm interested in the Eastern Path. At first he gives you a bright smile, but then nods with a sigh. Aye, so our issues are so clear that folks gossip on them. I'm glad you came to our help, friend, but it doesn't feel right to admit we need help from an outsider. He stands up slowly, walks away, and leaps over one of the log-made tables, and looks for something in the pile of wood. In this part of the land, there's always going to be something to do for a Roadwarden. He straightens up with a piece of charred wood in his hand and gets back to you. As he draws black lines on the workbench, he mentions a few names. Creeks, Foggies. Gale Rock's there. Here's the lake. The map is simplistic and doesn't align with your own understanding of local distances, but you follow his descriptions without issues. The path from here to the south is getting too wild for us, he repines, making it another few strokes. The merchants travel through the other route, through Howler's Dell, passing by Old Pagos and White Marshes. Once they reach Foggy, they already have full stomachs and many deals closed. And when they travel back, they visit the same places again. Folks already know that trading here takes a long time. So you want me to give them an option to get you to you first and move west without backtracking? And do so all by myself? How, exactly? Quirrell says maybe he's just into that. Calmly Enveloped says, I'm fat and I squeeze my stomach sometimes. Jabal says, I've met one or two people who do that sort of absent-minded focusing point or nervous tick. Oh, okay. Well, that's fine then. It's not something I've witnessed, but that doesn't mean it's not normal. It must be, I suppose. Well, I'm sure you can find some help. He pats his stomach without noticing that he leaves a few black dots on his leather jacket. There's a few things you could do. Follow the eastern road and see if it's clear. Are there any safe shelters left? Any blockades to get rid of? Is there an overgrown path to burn? Maybe see if the road from here to the western crossroads is safe, or if the carts can get through the heart of the woods. If you're brave enough? I hope you're a soul with safe judgment. Seeing your puzzled look, he rests his palms on the table with a shy smile. I know I'm vague, but I bet you already know more about these roads than I do, friend. His eyes return to the map, and after a moment of hesitation, he rubs an uneven line with his thumb. You forgot to mention my pay? How can you know if I'll be honest with you? Where would you like me to start, or wouldn't it be better for you to put work into the western road? You could split the labour with the other settlements. I think that sounds better. They can't be trusted, especially some of them. He crosses the western side of his map with a long, thin line. Even a paved route would force merchants to add a day of pointless travel to their plans, and that's a big loss in their trade. Having our path clear gives everyone more options and more convenience. Where would you like me to start? Go to the shelters set just at the side of the roads. There's a ruined campsite west of Foggy's. He makes a small circle on his map. Or you could go south, to a cabin our elders built. He makes a larger square. It's halfway from here to the river. Take a look around and see what's their condition. If there's any beasts around, you can handle a few small creatures, can't you? So, 2 shelters and then you just want me to take care of anything I find? He laughs, but not with his eyes. Forgive me, friend, but you don't sound like someone with much experience behind them. You're nothing like Asterion. He took pride in his self-reliance. Rude? Quirrell says all this talk of Foggy reminds me of something from SimCity 3000. One of the early game industries you could attract was a sort of rust-brown inverted funnel with a short chimney, and was literally just called an auto-smogger. Oh, okay. You forgot to mention my pay. That depends on what you're about to do, eh? The tribe has but a few dragons. To confirm his words, he enters the nearby house, from which he picks up an old wooden case, crude in shape and with an unsightly engraving of a 3-headed hydra on its lid. Inside it, you see maybe 24 dragon bones. Let's say you'll get a dragon for any news about cleared or blocked areas, and more if it takes real effort from you. Alright, we have a deal. He flashes you a wide smile and pats his stomach. I don't like how much he touches his stomach. It feels too pointed that he's the only fat character we've met, and he particularly touches his stomach all the time. I accept that some people do touch their stomachs on occasion, or pinch their stomachs occasionally, but it just seems to be his only action. You won't regret this! He then throws away the charred wood, returns to his stool, and looks for his tools. The shelter in the west isn't safe. Better to stay away from it until the dusk foxes move out. Oh yeah, I've already been there. Yeah. Dusk foxes. After he meets your silence, he carries on. I don't know what that is. You describe their looks and the threat they present as Ela observes the clouds, sometimes asking you to explain more. He finally squeezes his cloak and reaches for a coin that's been resting on the workbench. Well, sounds not as dangerous as a tribe of goblins, but it may be better for us to hunt them down in spring. We may need your help then. I don't want to hunt them. They're just raising their babies. For now, a single dragon bone will be fair to pay for the news. Sure. I'm a little bit annoyed about that. I need money. Well, that's a start. Keep it up. I'll let you know if there's anything else. Okay. I'll see you later. I'd like to go have a look around. Maybe there are some locals looking for a match in other villages. They said that they're short of spouses. Okay, yeah. After a few minutes, you find yourself sitting at a table with Shoshi, a dark-haired 20-year-old who some call a woodcutter, others a singer. In both of these roles, her massive stature must be of help. When she walks, she either carries a large axe on her shoulders or swings it around, towering over her tribesfolk like a chieftain from the Tales of War. She admits she enjoys a friendly shag from time to time, but can't see a future for her in creeks. Enough of these friends lose their lives in the wilderness. I start seeing cats and gargoyles in every shadow. I'd rather have a few calm, safe years at the side of a pretty little woman whom I'll see in my bed in the evenings. Though, you know, friend. Not just her. She lets out a sonorous laugh. You mention that you don't know if she'll be able to keep her trade after moving away, and she strokes her axe with affection. Aye, I'd missed the woods, but who knows? My tribe can't be the only one that cuts trees around here, aye? You try to ask her about her worldview, but she gets bored by the topic. We here, she looks around, have no temples and priests, and I don't aim to become one. Okay, bye. Shadowfax is enjoying the cold stream and green grass to gaze on, and welcomes you with a nicker. Oh, Shadowfax. Let's go to Old Harver, the farmer. Quirrell says, yeah, they were just raising their babies, which means they'll be gone by the time the hunters get out there in spring. Yes, there's no need to drive them away. Let's talk to Harver. You follow the path between the fields, witnessing a one-sided conversation between old Harver and a barely adult man. She orders him around, pointing at various plants, criticizing the sight of weeds, and addressing the fancy clothes he's wearing. He observes his red-dyed boots and lets out a relieved sigh at your arrival. I better change, he mumbles, heading to the main square. I step out of his way. The woman spares you a wry glance and turns away, focused on the struggling vegetables. She's the only person in the village who wears clothes made of plant fabric, but they're weathered and covered with decades-old patches. Her hands, clasped behind her back, are constantly twitching. Our approach. Time to choose our approach. Srillik's gotta run. Oh, thanks so much for being here, Srillik. Okay, friendly. How are you doing? Playful? Youth, huh? Back in my day. Distance? What do you have for sale? I do want to know what you have for sale. Intimidating? Don't test my patience? What? Vulnerable? I wait patiently. I think I'm gonna wait patiently. This is a woman who appreciates quiet, I think we were told. I'm just gonna go with wait patiently. After a minute, you realize that her keen eyes are indeed observing the leaves instead of just disregarding your presence. She clears her throat and points at one of the carrots. Their colour is good. Dark, but they're small. I think the soil is too dense. She's gathering her thoughts for another few breaths, then looks at you softly. I have time now, Roadwarden. What do you have for sale? We sold what we had. We're lacking hunters. And Lees. She looks at the wrinkled vegetables. Will go into a stew if they're even worth picking. Without noticing it, she grabs her left forearm with her right hand, but it doesn't stop the twitching. We always have a fish trap to spare. We make them just in case. A large basket, put it in a creek and wait for a day or two until something swims inside. I'll sell you 1 for 2 dragon bones. And if you'd rather eat something right away, she carries on after a short pause. Our cooks would spare you a roast grouse or chicken. It'll be cold but fresh. We always have one. You never know when there are maggots in your supplies, and kids shouldn't skip a meal. You ask her to tell you more, but her patience grows thin. It's the best light roast in the north. We add plenty of spices to it, so it spoils slowly. That's it. Fine. Show me how this trap works? What? Oh, a fish trap. Basket made of vines and willow branches. A roast chicken. I don't know if I wanted to get this yet. That's the supplies. I'm looking for a place to sleep. We need another hut, and we have no space for it. She gazes at you with dry, tired eyes. If you need a scrap of floor, go to the tavern. Okay, there's nowhere for me to stay. I met some annoying howlers. Do you have any earplugs? Her shoulders flinch. But will that work? They can break the skull of a deaf shell. After you shrug, she looks at one of the farmers who's wearing mouflon fur. Give me something good to eat and I'll give you a few tufts of thick wool. Put them into your ears, then wear them under a tight hood. Okay. How many rations do I have? I have 3 food rations and I have 3 coins. So I guess I'll give the food ration. I have wool earplugs. Okay. And we always need more of them. She orders the farmer to bring her a knife. After a few minutes, you hold a new pair of earplugs. I don't expect many merchants to reach this place. Why don't you move your traps to Foggy's? What's it to you? She doesn't wait for your response. Does her yard look like it has space for nets? She's not willing to tell me more about the merchants. Okay. I don't think I want to buy the big chicken just now. Although I bet that's going to be really useful on the road. Farewell. I approach the shallow creek. Maybe I can bathe! Oh, I can't wait to be clean again. With calming sounds of the waterfall around you, you observe the stream as clean as a spring. The oak ash soap you own is not enough to help you get cleaner. You need at least 2 pieces of bathing equipment to get more out of this place? I won't get any cleaner here and my clothes don't need washing? What? Soap won't help me get clean? Coral says, I will point out that you're very, very hungry. I'll buy the chicken then. Ugh, I jump into the stream. Oh gosh, I'm starving. Yeah, no, I'm starving. I'm gonna jump into the stream. It did improve my appearance. There are no fish or plants to bother with, and your feet find mud among the not always smooth pebbles. The water reaches above your waist, allowing you to have some fun and wash every spot of your shell. Thanks to the gentle flow, you are able to remove the mud stains from your clothes and boots. I step away. Okay, let's go to Hava. I want to buy a chicken. Can I eat my chicken? I can't use my inventory right now. Okay. Well, it's time to move on then, I think. 9 hours before dusk, we've got a lot of time. Rowan says this game is extremely harsh. It really is. I need to eat. Foggy Lake Tavern. 45 minutes. Let's go there and eat. Once you get on the ground, the large forager points at the old rawhide you're carrying by your saddle. Looking for a blanket, friend? You'll find one clean and all in creeks. This one will get smelly soon. The screeching birds are sitting on the logs of the palisade. Some of them observe you, but the group doesn't cease its squabbling. I enter the tavern. I want to eat. How do I eat? Wait, if I leave inventory, eat the chicken? Eat a chicken to increase my nourishment by 3. How many nourishments is that? Okay, great. Eat. Even when cold, it's delicious, juicy and fresh with enough herbs to give it an unusual flavour, but not enough that would overwhelm your senses. You wish you had an opportunity to combine it with other foods, but it's already much fancier than a regular chicken pie that you would normally buy in Hovlaven. Once you're done, you wash your mouth and fingers with water stored in your bundles. We ate! Oh, we're looking much better. I want to heal. How do I increase my vitality? Jabal says, unfortunately, I don't think you get an option with the Dusk Foxes. I think in fairness, part of the idea here is that the things like the Dusk Foxes aren't massively dangerous to you, but merchant groups and villages do have children around who could be in more danger. True? Let's approach the foragers. Once the man in black fur hears your steps, he nudges his companion and nods toward you. They put away the old noose traps they've been trying to fix, proper for hares and small birds. I thought I've already been here. I don't know why I'm introducing myself to them. The tall one spreads his arms, thundering his loud welcome. A Roadwarden, aye? I guess we're going to see a lot of each other. I'm Elan, and this shorty here is Zvi. The man in the black fur looks up, frowning. There's also the one-handed man you saw in the attic. Yeah, that's why I thought I already knew them. Unlike the rest of the staff, he has an unkempt beard and worn clothes made of blue fabric, patched with scraps of flour sacks. He's looking down to examine a trap, but his shoulders are slumped, eyes absent. Elan doesn't introduce him. Strider, nice to meet you. Elan smiles. Were you at Pell to the north yet, friend? He blushes. How is Dalit doing? Lie, I haven't been there yet. Lie, she's fine, just doing her thing, you know, or I didn't speak with the hunters all that much. I don't want to lie. I guess I'll just say I didn't speak with the hunters all that much. Ah, bummer. You missed on a great company. They're kind of travelers, these hunters. Wanted to buy hard drinks and healing potions from us. The innkeeper is their boss, but just wait before you meet Dalit. She played dice with us for a good hour and knows all sorts of tales about monsters, and her smile must be really bored, that one. His smile turns into a grin. Better say hi to her for us. Zvi adjusts his black cloak. Our traps won't fix themselves. What brings you to us? Elan frowns at this interruption, but says nothing. I turn toward the one without a hand. Do you know Tulia? The man gives you a surprised glance, but then looks down and crosses his arms, holding his hand under his shoulder. I'm a new man now. There's nothing that ties me to the army. He has the accent of the city folk, same as yours. You've crossed a great part of this land, greater than most. Have you seen anything unusual? He takes a deep breath. His voice is close to a whisper. There's fog in my soul. I was on the Eastern Road, hungry and sick, praying for the right to send its beasts on me and save me from the pain of living. I remember the touch of fur and the breath on my neck, the claws pinning me to the ground. I was waiting with my eyes closed and I woke up in the middle of the night, still feeling. I got back on my feet, walking until I reached the lights of this tavern without so much as a bruise. Foggy may have no faith in her heart, but the right used her kindness to give me a second chance. Elan frowns at the man's words, and there's cautiousness in his voice. He may be crazy, but it's true he came here after midnight, raving. Maybe the monsters don't like his scent. So you forgot everything? He hides his stump in the palm of his hand and curls up. I've seen a dragon eating a tree, an ape that tore away the head of a monstrous cat, and a wolf without fur that was as quick as lightning. Now leave me alone, evil spirit, let my shame rest. He's shaking. Let him be, so he grunts at you. Nothing wrong about a man trying to forget. Elan rubs his chin. A furless wolf, friend? I've heard about one. Our tribesfolk saw it in the heart of the woods. A nasty beast, let's hope it won't find a mate for breeding. It charges at you like a runner and jumps right at your throat. He touches his neck. So even the hunters stay away from it. Too bad we've no crossbows. He raises his wooden club. Better to avoid the deep woods without one. Jabal says vitality is boosted by healing potions and or resting in better resting spots. Okay, so maybe we should pay to sleep here at night. Quirrell says, as Fluffle would say, that person has seen some shit. Definitely. What's your plan? I could use some work. Zvi nods and Elan's voice gets even louder. Glad to hear that. There's hardly any fruits left around here and even fewer mushrooms. So you're planning to do some bird catching, a hunt without killing. Maybe not today, but in 7 days, maybe a bit later. What do you say? How much do you pay? I mean, it may be a scary trip, but it won't take that long. Elan shrugs. Just show up here at noon or before it and we'll be back in a few hours. You'll get 5 dragons, 2 if the bird dies. That's a good price for one afternoon, eh? I mean, it seems okay, but I don't feel good about leaving my horse behind. I can't leave my horse behind. Oh, I wouldn't worry about it. Elan waves a hand, just like his mother. The idiot will take care of it. Oh, they're so awful to this man. The one-handed man starts to object, but a harsh shut up from Zvi makes him sigh. His shoulders sag. Elan goes on. He's a loony, and would stumble over his own feet on a trip, but does what he needs when told to. And you know he won't steal it. He hates animals. This is horrible. Why would you need my help with the birds? Don't you just let them walk into traps? Elan glances at the cords used for snares. These won't do. We want to catch a runner this big. He raises his muscular arms and stops it maybe a foot above his head. Looks like an ostrich. And bring it here alive. We want its meat for later. The man with one hand interrupts him. His voice is weak but disdainful. Beasts ought to be dealt with, not tamed. Bonding with monsters brings only death. Will bring us full bellies in winter, squawks Zvi. Fine, I'll be back in 7 days or soon after. Elan grins. Do so. We still need to prepare, and you better do so as well. But don't make us wait for long. Let's not test the bird's patience. Just come one day before afternoon. I'm never going to keep track of that. There is no way. I walk away. I enter the tavern. I spoke with Caius. I wonder why you decided to keep him around. Ha! Do I need a reason? Her amused eyes get thoughtful as she looks at the ceiling. He came here poor as a soul in need, taught only how to use a spear and a shield. I know how it feels to have all that you're good at taken away from you. She straightens up and hits her chest with her fist. But so I know that new paths await us, with or without the help of others. Caius' legs may be buried in despair, but I'm ready to throw him a shovel once he asks for it. She pauses and looks through the window. Though these fantasies of his won't help him ask anytime soon. They swallow his thoughts. Okay, so she's a bit more nice about Caius. Let's see. What time is it? 8 hours before dusk? There's no need to sleep just yet. On the other hand, I feel like traveling around with only 1 health is, like, bad. What do you have for sale? Now you're talking, she grins. Well, I could serve you some of my cooking. Not food rations, mind you. Need what we can save for the winter season. Let's say you give me a dragon, and in return I'll cook for you 4 times. You just need to ride up when you're hungry. Other than that, you won't take any wood or stone, are you? Seeing your shrug, she waves it off and heads toward the trapdoor. After a minute, she shows up with a sack that clanks every step. I can sell you some scraps. She pulls out a couple of iron clasps, nails, and a broken steel blade. A value trash. We found them while foraging. We don't have a furnace in Creeks, but you could sell these bits and pieces to someone else. She observes you for a moment, then shrugs. Let's discuss the price? Alright. Fresh meals. 4 meals bought in advance seems very good. But I have food at the moment, so I guess I don't need it yet. Do you want any of my stuff? My berry picking hook? I want to use my berry picking hook, but it doesn't seem very useful yet. Why did I buy this? Whew. Well, let's go travel a little bit. There's Creeks. What's down? Ooh, a statue. The air is fresh, just as it was in the tavern. The light touches the road and shrubs blocked only by the single willow, wild and untrimmed. You're by a lake, too large for you to see its other bank, but the local soil isn't too fertile. There are only a few trees on the horizon, while the struggling bushes and grasses fight with layers of rocks. In the south you see uninviting hills cut with tiresome roads. A grey rabbit is cleaning its fur near the brook, but the sound of hooves makes it hop toward the nearest shrub. Right after it sinks into the leaves, you hear it squeal, cut off quickly. Whatever its hunter was, it leaves behind only the rustling of the thicket and a trail of blood. Oh. You wait for a long minute with a hand on your axe, but the creature doesn't return. You relax a bit, then turn toward the stone statue of a young woman. I ride a bit closer to it. Vexato, hello! Oh, Vexato, I wanted to tell you, I currently have a hot water bottle. Because you and everyone else in the world thinks I should be using one because I'm so cold. Joe's mum pushed one through my door. And I didn't burn myself filling it up this time, which is good, because I have in the past. And it is very warm, and it's still warm. I think I've had it for like an hour now. An hour and a half now. So yeah, thank you for that article, which made me a little bit more keen to try them. Let's see. It's like a rubber one. With like a little knitted like case around it. Such a monument would be a better fit for a temple or a rich city folk's house. Here, without any cover, it's already losing its shape from the rains and dust. Chunks of the face and hair have already broken off. It has detailed eyes and human-like proportions, and the clothes are like fabric petrified by a spell. The statue carries the usual travelling equipment. A walking staff. Excuse me. Oh, I tried to mute, but it didn't go. Sorry. Let me just take a drink. Quirrell says I get a hot water bottle whether I want one or not, but he loves to curl up all next to my feet at night. Yeah, Merlin is a natural water bottle for sure, but he's free to come and go. Whereas this hot water bottle, which I've been calling my warm friend just sticks with me. Quirrell says my actual hot water bottle is really neat though. It's a sealed gel pack with a fabric cover that I warm up in the microwave. Ooh, I like that. Alright. So, the statue carries the usual travelling equipment. A walking staff, a gambeson, simple pants now covered by leaves. It's a shame to see it deteriorating, or I look at the pedestal, maybe someone left a valuable offering here. It's a shame to see it deteriorating. You observe its delicate face and the broken fingers, the last bits of which still hold the staff. You wonder why someone would place such a thing here. Okay, the options. It may be a statue of a long-gone hero. It was made in the likeness of a person who placed it here. She wanted to be remembered. She welcomes the travellers heading to the sea. Someone had to drop it after their wagon broke. I think it marks a place of great importance. I shrug, all that matters is that it's pretty. I think it marks a place of great importance. I love building the world. There are no answers to find in the statue's absent eyes. I could get rid of these branches, clear the space in front of the statue. And I could wash myself in the stream? Let's get rid of these branches. What for? There may be something valuable hidden beneath it. The locals may appreciate someone looking after their relics. I want to make it clear that there's a new Roadwarden around, someone who cares. The statue may represent an ancestor of one of the local families. It ought to be protected. I don't know, someone should do this. I kind of feel like I don't know, someone should do this. But it's a beautiful thing in a strange place. I want it to be okay. Yeah, maybe it represents an ancestor. I think I'm gonna go for that. You dismount and approach the bushes. You try to push them away, but their stems are thick and healthy, crowded with insects and spider webs. Thankfully, you see no thorns, and the touch of a leaf doesn't make your fingers itchy. In about half an hour, I can use my axe to cut down the bushes and twigs. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna help this statue. Fixato says I would be worried that they could consider it disturbing a sacred place. Well, it's being, like, consumed by the undergrowth. I don't think that's the case. I'm gonna try and clear it. Oh, look, we can properly see it now. You tether Shadowfax to the tree, letting it choose between drinking, grazing, and napping. You repair your equipment, keeping an eye on the bush where you saw the rabbit's last moments. You use your weight to move the plants to one side, then cut right above the ground. The stems are healthy and flexible, so getting through them is rough, but you have enough strength to deal with them in a couple of minutes. Then throw them into the lake. The work goes on for a bit, but once you're done, the statue stands in its former glory. A couple of old offerings are still on the pedestal. Polished rocks, bone figurines, and mouldy bowls and plates that used to store food. This used to be a holy place. In one vessel you see a dragon bone. It's dark and could be older than a generation, but it would surely be accepted by any merchant. I'm going to leave it here. This coin was left here for a good reason. I should leave it behind. I consider washing myself from the stream. Can I improve my appearance even more? The brook would hardly cover your feet, but you could sit on the pebbles and splash yourself with water. The Oak's ash soap you own can help you get cleaner. But I actually no. Actually, I need 3 pieces of bathing equipment, so I step away. I need to buy more bathing equipment. Yeah, dragon bones are coins in this world. Fixato. I guess, actually, as it's past, I think that's it for today. I think my big goals next time are going to be to... I think my big goal next time is going to be to make it to make it back to the Necromancer village, but having done more things to make myself and looking better so that they trust me more. And also, I think that maybe the Necromancer Elder is not a good person, and that the people living there seem to be maybe a bit in fear of him. And he seemed to have goals of taking over the world. So I'm not against the Necromancer village, but I am maybe against the leader of the Necromancer village. So that'll be interesting. Anyway, everyone, I really appreciate the company. I'm absolutely loving this game, so I'm having a great time with it. I'll be back again on Friday with the Wandering Village, and then back with Roadwarden again next week. So, thanks everyone. Goodbye all.